Please raise your hands for questions. We do have microphones. Please use them. Coach, whenever you're ready.
All right, man. I think just first of all, thank the fans for last Saturday. That was awesome. Great atmosphere, just like we anticipated, and appreciate everybody coming out and selling that out again. We'll certainly need that as we go throughout this season. We certainly fed off the energy there. Our players did, and right from the start of the game, and it didn't stop. It was awesome. We got to continue to have that as we go through this year for sure. We got some great teams coming into Nippert this year. Now, our guys came out really focused, I thought, really all week, and really started the game the same way. And, we took the ball right off the bat, go down the field. First fourth down we had, I think it was 4th and 5 in midfield, and ran a tempo and ended up connecting with Xavier with a great play, and that kind of just got us started and really didn't slow down. I think it was the first 6 possessions were touchdowns, and pretty much took the game in control at that point. And I was really pleased with the way Emory played. Congratulations to him getting Big 12 Player of the Week, and which is hard to get, I think, when you got this many teams in the Big 12, and there was so many good games this weekend. That was awesome for him to get recognition for that. Then Lichty comes in and he runs one and throws one as well. I thought, so the quarterbacks played really well. And, I think defensively we did some good things there. DG had a great game. He was, kind of our player of the game on defense with the impact that he had. 7 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, sack, and a forced fumble. Overall, I was very pleased with it. And, again, we got to put it back to back. This week, we're playing Pitt. Pitt's we know they're a really good football team. We played them last year when we were at Louisville, and I think they do a really good job. They're coached well, offensively, defensively, in the kicking game. They're solid in what they do in their approach. You flip on the film, and it's certainly Pitt. It's an NFL style offense with zone and play action. Defensively, they've been playing this defense for a long time. Coach Narduzzi, and they know what they're doing. They're really solid at it. They're very aggressive, and they play very hard. Hard-nosed football team, and that's what you're going to get when you're playing Pitt. And so we're looking forward to this opportunity to go play those guys. So we'll open up with questions.
Coach, how do you prepare a team for the physicality, the difference in physicality that you're going to see from game 1 to game 2?
Well, you got to talk about it. You got to know that the speed of the game is going to be faster. You got to anticipate, being more physical. But we practice physical. We get after it. This August we tackled a lot. We tried to be intentional in the way our approach was, knowing that this is going to be. We want to be a physical team. Like we want to play that way as well, and all phases. So it's something that we pride ourselves in. So we better be able to bring it. Every play we're out there. Certainly we're playing a team that's obviously a lot better, than an EKU team. At Pitt, and Pitt's used to winning. Pitt won the ACC 2 years ago, and Pitt's a very aggressive style. I think last year they were number 2 in sacks last year behind Louisville, and but they've been a top 3 or 4 in sacks every year, I feel like, and so that's just what they're going to do. And then offensively, they're going to try to play bully ball, be big, and push you off the line of scrimmage, and we certainly got to be aware of that and ready for that.
Who plays the part of Phil Jurkovic this week? Because that's a big dude.
Yeah, he is. We'll have Drogosh down there quite a bit this week. We had Drogosh down there last week as well. He kind of split time. He was on our end of the field and that end of the field. I would anticipate this week, maybe trying to give the defense a little bit more of that look. A bigger quarterback. Yeah, you're right. He's we listed him as 6'5", 235. We played him as well last year when he was at BC, and he's deceptively a decent runner. You think somebody that big can't run, but he had a big run against us last year to basically seal the game for them, and I think he is a little bit more athletic than what you think, but he wants to be play action and throw the ball in the pocket, and but we're going to certainly have to try to get him off the spot there and make him a little uncomfortable.
I guess going back looking at the film from Saturday, was there anything that really popped off the page a little bit more that you didn't see, like on the field, just on the sideline?
Not really. I think we go back and watch the tape. I think it was kind of what we thought. You know, we big explosive plays on offense. Receivers I thought played really well. You know, I thought the quarterbacks played really well. We got to do a much better job at the tight end position. We did not do very good there, blocking. We got to do a better job with that. We gave up a couple of pressures. We got to do a better job with that. We're certainly going to be challenged this week with that, with a team that's really going to pressure you. So we got to be way better up front and at the tight end position as far as blocking goes. I think defensively we had, there was the one drive they had. We had a couple of guys get out of their gaps, and they hit 2 A-gap runs on us, and then they hit a touchdown on the touchdown pass. And I think it was a linebacker that was not where he needed to be in that. So, I mean, we got to be better with that. First half we didn't have any sacks last week. Second half we did it much better in getting after the quarterback. So, when you go back and look at it, I mean, it's kind of what we saw. And I thought the teams played well. I thought toward the end of the game last week, maybe we were not as we didn't play quite as hard on special teams. I didn't think covering kickoffs, but I mean we had to cover a lot. So I guess they got bored covering kickoffs, but we got to do a much better job of finishing and playing fast and hard in the teams. But it was kind of but other than that, I mean really it's kind of what you saw. I think when we watched the film is what we got.
In terms of game prep, how does that familiarity with Pitt and Pat Narduzzi help with what you want to do this week in practice?
I think it helps a lot. I think we faced them in 2020 there. We lost 23-20. And during COVID and everybody in the stands, it was a little bit obviously different at that point in time. But what they did defensively, man, they shut us down. I think we gave up 7 or 8 sacks that day. Couldn't really run the ball. We hit one run for 75 yards. Other than that, we looked awful offensively, and we're still in the game, but did not play well at all. But we learned a lot off that game compared to what we tried to do last year when we played them. I thought we played them a lot better last year, and it's still hard to move the ball. It's just hard to find points. So we certainly learned a lot though, and I think that'll help us as we prepare this week to know what we need to tell our players. And it really hadn't changed over the last 4 or 5 years, so it's very similar. So I think that having that familiarity with what they've done in the past will certainly help us this week.
How does road game preparation change for you since it's your first road game at UC? Are you guys using artificial noise, anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, we certainly will have times in practice where we try to make it loud, chaotic. I think the biggest difference is travel. We got to go get on the airplane and go up to Pitt. That's probably the biggest thing. I mean, but you're still, once you get to the hotel, it's the same routine, when we go to the game, so that really won't change. We're playing on a different surface, so that's going to be a little bit different. You try to get familiar with the surroundings once you get in there. But I think other than that, I think, the cadence will be the only thing that really could be hindered by that noise, as you talked about. So we'll try to do the best we can to prepare for that with, chaotic noise and turn the music up or crowd noise.
How do you prepare for their pass rush? You guys had 50 sacks last year. They've averaged that the last 4 seasons, and you've seen it.
Yeah. Well, you have to have a really good plan. I mean, you just can't sit back and drop back and think, hey, you're going to have all day to throw the football. That's not going to happen. They have gotten to the quarterback. I mean, you turn on any game they've played in the last 3 or 4 years, they're going to get to the quarterback. Now, you got to get rid of the ball. You can't hold it. If you hold it, you're going to get sacked. So you better have a plan of where you need to go with the football. And I'm talking even when they're just bringing 4. When they bring 4, they're going to get to the quarterback. But other times in the game when they're bringing 5 or 6 guys and they're creating that that area where you can't move, you got to get rid of the ball. And so we got to do a great job in practice of our quarterbacks. If the guy's not open, throw it away. Hit your check down right now. Don't hold the ball. So those are things we'll work on in practice. I can't remember last year how many times they sacked us. I mean, they hit us a lot last year. They hit our quarterbacks, but we got rid of the football right before they're getting hit, which I think was a positive, obviously. So I think, you just can't hold the ball. So we'll practice that. We'll put a clock on the quarterback, and, you got to get rid of the ball.
Justin and Keegan.
Coach, we talked a lot about Emery's running ability and kind of that dual threat. He was obviously really accurate on Saturday, especially deep ball. Is that something you saw as soon as he got in? Is it something you felt like he progressed over the course of especially fall camp?
Well, I just think he had a really good August. he missed some time, I think, at higher ground. He had to get a tooth taken out, and so he missed that time. He came back. He was a little rusty for a few days, but then I thought by last week, game prep, he was back dialed in. Looked really good. And then from right from the start, I thought he was making some good throws. He was accurate. We felt good about calling some plays for him, and he made it happen. The receivers Xavier made a couple of good contested catches that I thought were really nice. But he did. He also, the one thing that we hadn't seen that it's his running, because you're not tackling Emory in camp, so it's like, all right, what's he going to do when he's actually going to get tackled? And I thought he ran the ball hard, ran it good. We had a Q draw on that first drive for about 10 or 12, 11 yards, and then that was the fourth down, was right after the Q draw, and he had a very accurate throw. And then the scramble on the touchdown run, that was a great run. He broke a couple tackles, and then he certainly got a good running ability. He's a different style runner, maybe, like what we had at Cunningham. Cunningham was a smaller, more shifty. He's bigger, but he certainly has some good speed. He's going to keep defenses honest with the way he can run. He's going to be able to get out of some trouble at times, but I thought his accuracy was really, really good. When you throw more touchdowns than you have incompletions, it's a pretty good day. So we gotta find ways where he can get some completions in this game early, and try to keep that thing rolling.
Do you sense a little extra juice out of your guys, especially the guys that have been here for a while and haven't got the opportunity to play Power 5 opponents very often?
Yeah, I think that certainly, gives some of those guys confidence to know, some of these guys, you mentioned some older guys that maybe hadn't played as much, their roles have changed now, so they're getting action, they're having to play, they're having to go make plays, and I thought, it was a good first game for them to get out there and get their feet wet and go out there and make plays and show, where they need to get better. Once we see the film and the tape, there were certainly several guys that can do a lot better, I think. The fortunate thing is we played well and won big, so now you can make your corrections off of that. But it's a good point, because there are several guys that, man, that's their first time starting, first time playing. We had one starter back on offense, and there's a lot of new guys out there. Not just the transfers, but some other guys that was their first time playing a lot. Up front, at DT, I think about him, John Williams, some of these guys that haven't played a lot, had to go out there and play, and it was good to get them, some good game reps and teach off of that.
Neil?
Coach Narduzzi called your wide receiver room one of the biggest strengths of this team in yesterday's press conference. Obviously, with a defense that's returning so much talent, they're on the secondary for Pitt. What stands out to you about that secondary in that Pitt defense?
Pitt, I think probably the thing that stands out the most is their corners. They've played a lot of ball. I think we charted these guys. I think 3 guys have over 2,000 snaps. That's a lot of ball. And they ask their corners to play man all day. So you can turn on the film from 3 years ago, and number 14's out there playing man. Matter of fact, he picked us off in 2020. That was a long time ago, and he's been playing this whole time. So they have some guys out there that in that secondary that are very confident players. They're going to get up in your face and they're going to harass you all day long. That's what they do. That's how they teach it. And I don't think they don't have any regard for pass interference. They don't care. They just play their ball, and they make it very difficult for receivers to try to get open. And that's how they play. Now there's a couple of the safeties maybe not as experienced as the corners, but they're really good at what they do. I think the way they're coached, they're very as solid as you can get defensively. Playing their quarters and their cover 3 look. They don't do a ton in the secondary. It's mainly quarters and cover 3, and they do a lot with their front. And those guys know what they're doing. And but I think the experience they have at corner, man, that's a lot of snaps they have out there. And it's not just 2 guys; it's 3 or 4 guys that have played a lot.
Joe, then Chad.
You've been around this team now for several months, back to spring ball, summer. But it's different once you see them in a game, I'm sure, as a head coach for the first time. Did you learn anything about this group after seeing them in a game?
Well, I really appreciated, we talked about this a bunch, but I really appreciated the preparation they put in last week. They were focused, they were intentional about their approach to the game. I've been a part of some teams that, when you're playing a team maybe you're supposed to beat, that sometimes guys get a little, lackadaisical in their approach. With their preparation, but they were dialed in, they were focused, and then they came out and proved that it worked, right? They came out right from the start and played really good football. you know, as a coach, you don't know that's how they're going to be. So that's how, you know, we learned that. You know, these guys are really good at their approach, and so, you know, now I think obviously this week we're going to learn a little bit more about our team, because now we're playing a team like Pitt that's on the road, that's a team that's used to winning, that are going to be, you know, a blue-collar, hard-nosed team, and so now we'll learn how we're going to go out and fight, you know, and because we'll face adversity this week, it'll be a tough game, it'll be a hard-fought game, you know, and then how we're going to be able to continue to fight throughout the whole game and for 60 minutes. I mean, I think that's the thing that we need to answer that question this week.
Did you expect the production out of Xavier, and then he's a veteran? How are they going to react to the style of defense that you mentioned their DBs play? Yeah,
I mean, we expected that out of Xavier. You know, that's we've expected him to make plays for us, and we will expect that all year. You know, he's a guy maybe in the scrimmages, hadn't done a whole lot in our scrimmages, made, you know, a couple catches here or there, but again, we're not game planning, trying to get him the ball and that kind of thing. But he went out and made plays. He made the contested catches, and he ran off with it. So we're going to need that all year. But we feel like we got several guys in that room that can go and make those plays, and they're very experienced players. You know, so, you know, now, new challenge this week, to your point. Corners are going to be up in their face on the outside all day long. You know, you're going to have safeties that are down, making guys get open, making them work for it. They're not any freebies out there this week. So we're going to have to be able to get off the press, get off the contested coverage, and try to get free. And then, because we got to get rid of the football early. You know, you don't have time to run the long routes. You know, there's going to have to be, right now you're going to have to get open, and we got to get the ball in the air.
Any other questions for Coach Joe? You have one? Sorry.
First impressions are always a thing, no matter what your profession is. For you to have one done, have one under the belt, just how did that one feel? Emotionally, personally, you've done this before at other places, but to come here and do it for the first time, to kind of have that first one done, just what was it like for you?
Yeah, I mean, it was awesome. I mean, it was a great atmosphere. I mean, I said this last week. I was so looking forward to this game more maybe than any other game I started the season with. I mean, to get out here and play in front of Nippert, I'd heard so much about it. To get out and play, and then for our guys, you know, I said I want them to look like they know what they're doing. And they did. You know, they went out there and they played exactly like they're supposed to play and made plays. And it was very satisfying to see our guys play that way and then to feed off the crowd. And you know, you want to win. I mean, that's the bottom line. In this business, you want to win. If you don't win, you feel as bad as you possibly can feel. And when you win, man, it's so satisfying. And you know, and when you win, everything's better, right? The cheeseburger that I ate after the game was way better, and the French fries, and being able to watch all these other teams struggle to win and all that type of stuff that night. I mean, so yeah, it was awesome, you know, but you know what? Now, and Sunday hit, and we were right back on the next week, you know, so that's the way this business is. You forget about it, and you got to move on. So now we have to do it again this week. You know, we have to have great preparation. Everything in our approach has to be amplified a little bit more than it was last week, you know, because we're playing a better team, and we got to go out there and bring it this week. So we're looking forward to a great week.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, thanks, guys.